Good. Hey, good evening from the port of Felixstowe. Just thought I'd come down this evening and see the mighty OOCL Indonesia arriving in port tonight. It's just about 7 o'clock. She's fresh in from her journey from Singapore, come through the Suez Canal, of course, and resisted any possible temptation to go aground. I'm very glad to say. And as you can see, she's pretty well stacked up. I don't know what an absolutely full load looks like on one of these. I think you can get more on board, but the reality is there are lots of boxes there. Can't make much detail out on the bridge really because of the direction of the sunshine, but there you have it. I'm not aware, to be honest with you, Clive. This is a regular caller. This is a regular routine call. It's not an exceptional call, diversion. Good evening, Steve. As you can see, the sun is right kind of behind the ship, so such is life. I'm sorry about that. Baxter Bear. Well, that's a new one. Hello, Baxter. Nice to see you. I must say the sun down here tonight is fantastic. It's beautifully sunny, but the wind and the general atmosphere is quite chilly. Hello, Jason. Well, I'm glad to see you sitting there. At least you're doing something worthwhile with your time watching Felixstowe live, which is good news. Thank you for watching, mate. Do we know how to? Yeah, it's about 21,000. Can't remember the exact number, but that's just one of those things. It's, you know, the honest truth, Amber, is they're all about that kind of level now. 20,000, 21,000. The 400-meter ships are recent builds. are all in that kind of region. Although we've now got up to 24,000 on some, haven't we? Well, neither of the OOCL ships are being diverted. I don't think there's that much diversion going on. The issue, really, from your point of view, Jason, is that ships are being diverted because ports are getting congested at times. Currently, Gateway has been quite congested. It's had ships stacked up. As Clive, in fact, says, it's one of those things that happens, really. I think the honest truth is that we're still getting over the congestion caused by the Ever Given thing in the Suez Canal. Stuff is still going wrong. Oops, today. Sorry about that. Mm. Interesting. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, they're about 21,000, I think, on this one. Yes, in fact, Clive, Ever Given is still in Suez. I was sent a really nice photograph of her this morning from another seafarer who was actually passing through the canal at about 7 o'clock local time. He took a photograph of Ever Given and sent it to us. Hmm. Sorry, I can't answer some of your questions correctly, but yes, I was going to check on what else was coming in. I think I need to, or I think, in fact, I owe you a bit of apologies because, excuse me, I'm having a bit of signal here, problems here, so I'm getting a bit clagged up on signals. Yeah, you're right, actually, Clive. One day over the rainbow is probably the kind of thing you're thinking about, isn't it? And for amber, I think I know it's 21,000 something. I can't look it up because we've got signal problems at the moment. I'm not getting enough signal to do all the things I want to do. So better talk to Vodafone, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. Are you actually on that case? Can you say amber or not? Right. Well, that's interesting. You've got team members who are handling the cargo claims. There's a lot of cargo claims out there, aren't there? I should think. The vessel owners are not your client. No, we got that. It's going to be an interesting one because the question is really how much of a flyer are the canal authorities taking, and at what point will they back off a bit? Because you can't imagine paying out that kind of money for 6 days delay, can you really? I mean, the salvage claim I think is pretty straightforward, but for the rest, who knows? At least it's keeping you busy, Amber. I think that's the only thing you can say, really. I'm just hoping that my batteries are going to survive until we get a more or less parallel to the bird. See how it goes. Yeah, that's right. We followed her on this channel quite a lot, and we gave quite. I think we got a little bit of an interesting, good reputation from some users, some shipping people, because we followed it fairly closely. I used to do a thing called Shipping TV, and we got a lot of interest. We know a lot of people around the world, and got a lot of interest in the shipping industry, so that was quite nice, really. See one of the tugs pushing away there. Ah, right. Yeah, no, I enjoyed doing those. I had a great time doing those, actually, Clive. Because, of course, as you know, I went across and back with DFDS, and I have to confess to working like mad, actually. Worked very hard to do it, but it was a lot of fun to do. A lot of good times to do. And the DFDS guys, I think, like them a lot as well, which is really good. You can see she's really swinging now that she's got some tug power pushing away at her. Or pushing and pulling, should I say. And this is one of my favourite shots of all times of any of the big ships swinging, because she's coming round to dead head on. And I can remember when I was sailing in small yachts quite a lot out of Harwich. The container ships were much smaller then than they are now. But seeing that kind of thing coming towards you at 12 knots, even if you were well out of the way, was quite disconcerting, quite a worrying sight. What's happening now is that the two tugs that you can, well, I don't know if you can see two tugs there actually, but there are two tugs on the same side, and they're pushing OOCL Indonesia literally towards the quay, and they've still got the stern tug pulling her stern round, because the trick is to get her close to the quay and parallel to the quay, and then they can get her alongside safely. If you speak to the ship pilots, the port pilots who handle these ships coming in, they say that these big ships are quite tough work to handle, especially when it's windy. But the thing that got me about one of them was he said, well, in reality, because they're so large, they're kind of fragile, really. They're not as tough as a smaller steel ship, because weight for weight, I guess their hulls are thinner than the smaller ships, weight for weight. So in other words, you make this out of whatever plate, and you probably make a much smaller ship out of the same thickness of plate. So you've got to be a little bit more gentle with these ships in difficult situations, like coming alongside a quay. So they take some handling, chaps. And good evening to you, young Raymond. Pleased you caught up with us. Hope you're keeping well. You can now just see the corner of the quay. That's right at the right hand side of the picture. And the ship is now coming round. She's going to be parallel to that quay in a very few minutes. And hopefully we'll have enough battery to see that. Hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're finding it worthwhile. I must say, I find it an interesting technical challenge to do this kind of thing. And it's interesting from the ship point of view as well. I'm going to see if I can get a couple of biggish close-ups here. We'll see what we can get. Yep, so you can see, you know, whether it's usually either the master and the pilot, or the pilot and the first officer on the bridge wing, because this is the key moment when they come alongside and it all has to go right. So there's a lot of skill involved, a lot of knowledge involved, and a huge amount of understanding, because they need to understand what this ship will do when you do stuff yourself, i.e. if you put on more revs, if you put the back thrusters on, etc. They need to know what they're doing exactly. So there's now 3 people on the bridge wing. If they're if they're anything like me, they're pretty chilly, but I expect they've got their thermals on, which I haven't got. Thank you for that, Raymond. It's an interesting thing to do, isn't it, really, I think. Gandali, yeah, well, I think the Switzer guys here have a terrific reputation for handling their tugs and being responsive and understanding exactly what they're doing. In the past, I went out with them a few times, and the way that those guys handle their tugs is absolutely amazing. They know precisely what they're doing all the time. You don't very often see that kind of level of skill, really. Gives you a bit more of an overview now, doesn't it, of the ship coming alongside. I can imagine that, Amber. It's something that happens very, very rarely, isn't it? Really, it happens around the world, I guess, quite often. But the reality is that in individual ports, it happens very rarely. I think the last time we had a crane damaged was a lot of years ago, when one of the crane carrying ships was actually alongside here, and that was before they built berths 8 and 9. and she was alongside and carrying some cranes, and she actually got blown off her berth. She had all her lines snapped, and she travelled down the quayside at about 2.5 knots, knocking over a couple of other cranes as she went. It was quite an interesting one, but I understand what you mean. I have been lucky enough in the past to be on the bridge of a ship of this size, but to be honest with you, I haven't been aboard one whilst they're underway. I'd love to have a go. If anyone's watching and can smuggle me aboard to do some filming, I'd love to go. But it certainly is, Clive. Nice to see the port getting busier again. It's busy all the time now. I'm sorry about the shake, but it's because I've got a bit of extreme zoom on. Okay, let's get away from that and get back to the ship. I do think this is a work of art on behalf of all concerned, really. A lot of expertise, a lot of skill, a lot of horsepower as well. And as she comes up to the quay, we're going to depart and leave you to get on with the rest of your evening. We will come back and see another large vessel like this coming into the berth, because it is a fascinating thing to watch. And we'll watch them sort the lines out, etc. And we'll do that soon. I'll try and do that as soon as I can. In the meantime, let me wish you well. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Hope you give it lots of likes and loves. And there you have it. Another 5 minutes and she'll be tied up and she'll be done with. I'm going home for a cup of tea because I think that seems like a really nice idea. Don't know if I've got any more messages. Have I got any more messages? Okay, it's a pleasure, Amber. It's a pleasure, everybody. I do this mainly for fun. So there you have it. And okay, I'm Chris. This is Felixstowe Live, and I'll see you soon.